Hello, cuties. Welcome to yet another episode of Brown Girl Unscripted. It's your girl Rucha. I'm coming in from New York, and I hope you're having a sexy day. Today's video and today's episode, well, regardless, if you're watching on YouTube, then I guess it's a video for you. If you're watching on Spotify, listening to On The Go, then it's an episode. But today I want to talk about something that I think doesn't get talked about enough, and that is community, specifically having community of the same gender that is yours. I'm a woman, so for me, women's community is so important, and it's also why I built this entire channel and community, Brown Girl Unscripted. And I want to talk about how that is built and how you can leverage that to your benefit and all the ways in which in your 20s, community can actually help you so much in a way that we're not always taught to, right? So if you're a college student, you're in your early 20s, even if you're 30s, 20s, like late 20s, whatever, this episode is for you. And I hope it gives you that boost in taking more agency over your career and just your personal life as well. Growing up, networking and building community is not always something that we're told that we should do. Even if you talk about networking, it's seen as very transactional, and it's seen as, yeah, you go hit this recruiter up and then you basically sound like a robot, a corporate robot, and you get this opportunity, whatever. And I've noticed in my career so far, I've been a data scientist at the FCC. I've been in tech consulting, working on the product and data science side of things. And then I've also built my own fashion company. And most recently, I'm interviewing for product manager roles, talking to investors about my app, which you guys should definitely check out. It's not out yet, but definitely get on the wait list, request an invite for that. And of course, growing this community. And my take so far has been that every single opportunity that I've gotten, even any call or anything, has always just been from me being genuine and me being honest with the person I'm talking to. And the way you might see it on LinkedIn is human-centered networking, which I guess that's true, but to boil it down, all it means is being a fucking person. Sometimes when you look at your favorite business show or any of the top leaders in our country, the 1% per se, they always rely on their relationships, how they come off, and what kind of value they're providing, right? It's not about a good resume even. It's literally just about the relationships you're building, who you're speaking to, and your ability to cultivate those, right? And when going back to community, so many opportunities and even personal progressions can come from you building community. Like when I first started my fashion company, the biggest reason why I got to where I got to, where I got to 5 figures, I got to partner with Shopify, I did New York Fashion Week. It's because of the business community that I built in New York City by talking to people and being excited and telling them about what I was building. Same thing within the tech space. Any sort of investor calls I've gotten, any partners I've gotten, any job interviews and jobs I've gotten have literally just been from me talking to people and being excited about the tech industry and the fact that I'm really into innovation, and building these relationships over time and even joining a club. One community I personally really like is Miss Empower. It's by a guest we actually had on Brown Girl Unscripted, Caitlin Kumi. At these events, you get exposed to a lot of support systems in a way that you might not always be exposed to, because when you're in corporate America, or even when you're navigating your business with other business associates, you are around people that might be looking at you as their competition. So they might not always be really supportive. But when you're in a community, they are there to support you, hype you up. And especially if you're a woman, oftentimes if you are talking to men about your career, and this is only including the type of men that are maybe more negative, but they do exist, and I've come across them in my own lifetime so far. But then the second that I go to my community, my women's community, or even the men allies that I have in my life, I've noticed that there's so much support and encouragement. And because of that, I feel like I can do anything. It's something that actually builds you up in your 20s, having a support system, especially if you're doing something really hard. And my favorite ways of doing that is literally being an obsessive LinkedIn user, Instagram, even a TikTok user. There's so many communities on all these different platforms, and you can get access to them. There's newsletters. I get so many different newsletters. I can put them in the description below to give you guys some access to them, but I get a lot of newsletters that give me job opportunities, connections to different VC funds or investors that might be interested in investing in my app. And I think these things have just helped me out, and I wouldn't have gotten that if I didn't join that community or I didn't talk to that person. Or I'll give you another example. I was literally about to stop filming this podcast just a week ago, and I was like, oh my god, I feel like it's not growing at the pace I want it to go. But I talked to my best friend who I met through an event in New York City, and she was like, oh my god, no, you need to continue. Like, what, like, why wouldn't you do that? You're gonna be so big, you need to keep doing this, and you need to also keep posting about tech. You need to keep growing your things and growing your skill sets. Like, I want you to win. And I think that we need people like that in our lives, and sometimes those people don't always come from our professional communities or the professional communities that we naturally go into. It comes from intentional communities that we're seeking out and people that are like-minded. And I think another reason why it's also really beneficial and how you can leverage this is when it comes to collaborations and partnerships. Like, I think collaborating with other business owners, or even having a job search session with someone you met at a community event for tech jobs, that's such a cool way to keep yourself motivated. Because when it's just you, like me, myself, and I, it's very easy to feel like you are going nowhere. You're in an echo chamber. Like, all your negative thoughts, your intrusive thoughts, you're speaking them again and again, and it's because there's nothing there to invalidate you. And I know we're right now in this culture of, well, I don't owe anyone anything, I need to take care of myself, self-development, whatever. But no, you need community. Like, you're literally a human being, and we need people to validate us, to support us, and to make us feel like we're not insane. And I think everyone needs that, regardless of what career you're in. That's a big reason why I've built this community, Brown Girl Unscripted, where if you haven't checked out already, I have free digital products on my page, and it's AI basics, ways you can leverage networking and stand out when you're reaching out to recruiters or investors, and just lots of other ways you can glow up in that space, because all this leads to better finances and a better mindset. And at the end of the day, any problem that women face always boils down to the level of confidence she has and the amount of money she has. We've gone over all the benefits of community and having community in your 20s and the ways that it can just be so beneficial. But one thing I want to say for any of the 20-somethings that are always feeling behind, because trust me, I'm also one of them. I never know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm behind half the time. And when I talk to other people, they're like, you're doing so good, da da da. And it's always like a comparison game, or it's like someone might think that you have your shit together when meanwhile you feel like you're drowning. And then you look at the other person and you're like, they have their life together, but they might be drowning in something else. And I think that it's very easy to get in our heads, going back to that echo chamber example I mentioned earlier. But opening dialogue for this and just being honest, right? Like, I'll give you an example. I talked to another best friend of mine. We were just talking about how when we look at one another, it feels like the other person has their shit together a little bit more than the other. And then when I'm opening up about it, I'm like, girl, I don't have my shit together at all. Like, I don't know what I'm doing half the time. It's one day at a time. It's just a leap of faith in anything. And this is inclusive for any career path. And she felt the same way. And then we were just like, oh my God, it's really crazy how when you're in this phase of life, if you don't talk to other people and you're not honest about what you're going through and even what you want out of your career, you're going to be stuck in the echo chamber and you're going to be isolated. And isolation is not good for you, because it's not going to take you to any other greater length that you want to go to. And especially as a woman, which I'll say again and again, it's just so important. And I know that we're good at building emotional communities and being there for each other when it comes to breakups or anything, just like you're being sad, you're sad about something. But I think we also need to start having more support around career. We're getting close to the end of this episode, but I just want to end this off with one last thing, which I usually do with my guest, and it's just asking myself basically what I would tell my younger self when it comes to this specific topic. So I would tell my younger self that I think that you need to just be more honest about how you're feeling and what you're going through and what's going on. And when you're talking to people, just be yourself. I feel like I gaslit myself out of being myself for so many years. And because of that, I had low self-esteem. And one thing I want you to do this week is go to a community event, whether it's a Pilates class, whether it's something in your industry. Go to an event like that, talk to a new person, introduce yourself. Know that you guys are both just people. She's probably just as nervous to talk to you in the same way that you are to talk to her. If someone doesn't like you, that's okay. Talk to people, talk about your careers, talk about what you want, and please open up these conversations more and more, because you have a lot more agency than you think, especially with community. Okay, that's the end. I love you. Make sure you let me know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like, and let me know what community event that you're going to go to this week and how you liked it. I love you, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.